Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel HopeQure Wellness, where we talk about everything related to mental health. And if you are new to our channel or watching us for the first time, do like, share and subscribe. Today we have with us Ms. Akshita. She's our in-house counseling psychologist. Welcome, Ms. Akshita.
Hi Yashika.
And today our topic is going to be outgrowing friendships. So let's start. Ms. Akshita, I would like to know what exactly does it mean to outgrow a friendship?
When you say outgrowing a friendship or any relationship for that matter, it means that you don't share that intimacy anymore. Emotionally you feel distant, and so it's like you do care for the person, but then it actually, there is like you both grow in a different direction, which can lead to distance. So anything that reduces or makes the person feel that we don't share the same level of intimacy that we used to emotionally, that's where we outgrow the relationship.
So can that also be like you are busy in your life, I am busy in mine, and our priorities have changed, so that's why the distance is there?
Yes, that's a possibility. So life catches up with us, and we do tend to have issues in the relationship because of it. But then again, that's kind of a factor leading towards outgrowing if we don't work on it beforehand.
Okay. So what are some signs to identify that, okay, I have outgrown this friendship, or somebody I know is outgrowing our friendship?
Okay, so some of the most common signs are that your friendship is mostly rooted in the past. You stay more in the nostalgic moments rather than creating.
Memories.
Exactly, rather than creating more at the moment. You don't care much about their opinions anymore. You feel more. Another point can be that you feel more exhaustive rather than energized. Things like that. Also, it can include things like it's very difficult for you to be who you are with them as a person, and it can also go into the direction where you feel that you can't be with them how you used to be. So
that's a very big point.
that's actually the core of the outgrown relationships.
Yeah, and any relationship for that matter, that if I cannot be who I am with you, then what's the point of whatever that we're doing?
Exactly. So when these feelings start coming up way too much, that's when you have outgrown the relationship.
The most difficult part that comes is communication. So how do I communicate it to my friend, or how do they communicate it to me that we've outgrown this friendship?
So that's the most difficult part, but however, communication is the key.
That's true.
Having the most difficult talks can actually include things like redefining the relationships, things like setting boundaries, asking for space, things like, okay, you reach out to your friend and you say, I'm not feeling very much energized in the friendship right now, so I would need some time, maybe a week's time to get back to you. Things like that, but it is so difficult to do that because you know that it can hurt the other person, but on the other hand, boundaries are important.
Yeah. And it shows maturity that when you communicate what you are actually feeling rather than ghosting or completely cutting off.
Exactly. So things are different. See, when you're in a friendship, if you've outgrown it, it means that you have been in a friendship for a longer time.
Yeah.
That's only when you outgrow it.
Yeah.
So when you have outgrown it, you do tend to feel very irritated that you know the person won't understand because you know them inside out. But that's an assumption. Because you're not communicating for them, you're communicating for you if you feel that the person is not being receptive. Things like that. So for example, if somebody is not receptive, you know the person is not receptive, but you're not, so you gradually take a step back, but you need to let the person know, or else there's no difference. Like you are in a relationship hurting others, also hurting oneself as well. So that's how it
That's
is.
very true. So as to not hurt each other, we need to talk.
That's the key.
That's how the solution is going to come.
Yeah.
That's great. And how do I deal with the hard feelings that come with this? Like, I might not have hard feelings, but my friend might, and my friend might not have hard feelings, but I might. So how do we, resolve this?
It is a complex process. See, once you actually take a step to end a relationship, for example, so this is important to tell here that outgrowing a relationship doesn't mean you have to end it, but you can also resolve it if both of the members of a friendship relationship are at the same level. So, or are willing to work on it. So if you've outgrown it and you feel guilty, so letting go of that guilt is very important, because feeling obligated to a relationship rather than actually wanting to do something about it is more important. So guilt can come in one person, even other person can feel that, okay, what did I do? Am I not a good person? Things like that. That's why communication is most important. You can actually assure the person, end things or even redefine things in a healthier way. It's okay. It's like the society has actually made breakup, separation so negative that even if you have a chance to consciously, decouple or actually break or separate paths, you can actually do that if you can communicate better.
Yeah, I think, in India we are actually told that you need to go with this relationship because, oh my god, it's been so long and so much time.
Exactly.
So
quantity over quality. People say things ki, 7 साल हो गए friendship को, how can I just say something? How can I break it off? Jabki they're not even contributing because they can't. They've outgrown it. So rather than talking, they'll just drag it out until it reaches to the level where there is an ugly fight.
I think to avoid that ugliness, we should be very mature in communicating, and even hard feelings will come, because if you're letting go something that's happened, that's been there for such a long time, there's of course going to cause some or the other feeling. It may be a negative or it may be a positive, but of course there's going to be something.
But staying in it is actually enhancing it more much. Exactly. So that's the thing. If you're staying in it or you're not staying in it, either ways, you are going through the tough phase with difficult emotions.
That's true. So what is something that you would suggest our audience, or you recommend to your clients as well, they do in a situation like this?
Where they've outgrown the relationship or friendship?
A friendship.
So, the most important thing is to understand if you have outgrown it, what does it mean? For example, people don't identify. So, it's a very subjective. Again, relationships, wherever it is, it's a subjective term. So, outgrowing can also mean for some people, for example, that they both are not at the same level. So change is the only constant. We all have heard it.
True.
So her relationship में वो change होगा. And if friendship has changed, like one person is evolving, other is not, that's not your responsibility. So how do you define that? How have you outgrown the relationship? State it to yourself, because if you're not aware what you mean by it, or are you using it to actually escape some real conflict that can be worked upon, things like that. So it's important that you know what outgrowing a relationship means for you. Once you've identified it, then we have to work around the emotions. See what is coming up. See how you can communicate better. Most of my clients as well that I've seen or I've observed, most of the people get stuck here in communication. So people prefer to actually put themselves in the back seat over actually coming forward and talking about it. Some people actually prefer to, they just feel obligated because they have committed once. Why quantity over quality issue. Things like that. So you need to be aware. What is your intention? What is it that you mean by it? How do you handle your emotions? And how are you actually projecting and showing up with it in the relationship? So once you're aware about it, then that's how we can actually take actions.
I think people mostly lack communication because they do not know how to say it. And they think that they don't know the way.
They don't know the way.
If even I were to communicate it to my friend, I wouldn't know a subtle way. And if I were to say that, I think, currently I'm working a job and you are still dealing with life as it is, and you've not grown in life, and I feel that I wouldn't be able to put it subtly, and that can cause a fight, which will again not lead us to a solution. And it'll be a circle. Endless loop of fight, and then an ugly fight where we just distance. And that's not healthy.
This is actually one of the signs of seeing if you have outgrown a relationship, that friendship, that is that you feel the other person is holding you back. And it is very good point that you've brought up, because it is a nice thing to remind to your clients or your friends or anybody who's struggling with it that your involvement is yours. You don't need anybody's permission. So what happens is, why we actually struggle to communicate, because we feel responsible so much for other people. Even if we know how to set a boundary or be assertive or simply say no because you don't want to go out with a friend because you're not in the mood. Why don't you do it? It's because you feel pressured and obligated into maintaining a standard. So that's the thing. It's like more of an obligation. That's where everything starts going down the drain.
And the day you start feeling that it's more of an obligation rather than something that you should do, I think that is a very big sign to stop.
Yeah, that's actually a red flag. That's something you need to pause and reflect. If you keep going with that feeling, which I've seen in many people, that's when the emotional exhaustion begins actually, and conflicts, of course.
Really insightful, and I feel that the day people start realizing rather than just carrying on with it is the day that we'll have a lot of healthy friendships and relationships.
Definitely. Because we all have seen how friendships end so badly and with so many people hurt. Relationships as well. After 12 years of dating or of being school friends and everything, because there was no communication since the beginning. We just went ahead with whatever it was. So that's how we outgrow a friendship.
It was really great knowing everything, and I feel that it will help people to understand that how being stuck in a relationship or a friendship is more detrimental for you rather than ending it. So thank you, Miss Akshita, for answering all these questions. It was really great, and it'll be a series of episodes that we'll have on various topics, and we would love that if you share your perspectives and opinions in the comments. Thank you for watching us.